Hello, Backer Nation, and this is Redhead Takes, and we're back again for the final preseason game review. Some good things overall, but I think the main one also I'd like to say is that struggles abounded throughout, and I think a lot of that has to do with players that won't be on the roster come cut time next Tuesday. So, let's get into it. Like I said, Redhead Takes, here again with another video. Let's get into this game review. Now I didn't miss. I was at dinner at the time and I was passively watching the first quarter, and from what I could see, there were not a lot of good things that happened. I mean, some good things here and there, but not too much. Mainly just because it was the ones against the twos, especially for the Chiefs. I think a lot of the ones played for the Chiefs, and some played for the Packers on both sides. But let's just get into it. Let's start off with a terrible return coverage for the Packers. And like I said, I think it has a lot to do. A lot of the players that were on the special teams during this play and throughout the game aren't going to be on the team come cut time on Tuesday, so it just didn't look very great. And like I said, some of the Chiefs ones played on the offense, and the Packers defense did okay at stopping them, but especially the Chiefs ones on defense played, you could tell, because the first couple drives for the Packers were both 3 and outs. Jordan Love didn't look great, and I was ready to shit on him the whole video, but there's some good things, but I'll talk about some of his other bad things that he did later on. But overall, the Packers defense did pretty good at stopping the Chiefs on offense, and the Chiefs defense did really good at stopping the Packers offense. Didn't have a lot of rushing yards for the Packers at all for Tyra Goodson or Patrick Taylor, and the Packers only gave up a field goal, but that was because of a terrible offensive pass interference call where there is barely any contact whatsoever, and it did not negatively affect that catch because the ball was overthrown and the receiver could not have caught it. But again, it was just some home cooking. But say the refs seem to be in preseason mode too, so I guess we have to get them a pass. Even though when it comes to regular season, players are expected to perform, but refs are just expected to F things up, and they usually do. But let's go to the second quarter. There's a good handoff to Amari Rodgers. He did pretty good tonight with some jet sweeps and some off-ball runs, able to get in and out and make some decent yardage. He's been making a lot of good moves throughout the past couple playoff games, and in practice, when I went to practice, I noticed he did pretty well at times. And there's a moment on that Packers drive in the second quarter where the Chiefs had a chance for an easy interception, but it was totally dropped. Should have caught it for sure. Tyra Goodson, like I said before, I've loved him throughout the preseason, and he's done great. He just looks the part of a running back. On that 24-yard touchdown run, he scored. He made some great cuts, had a great spin move. I think I think some of that had to do with bad tackling, but to say that was completely all bad tackling is a disservice to Tyra Goodson, because he just looks great. I really hope he makes the team. I think he has a great shot to make the team, honestly. It'll be hard on Goody to make that final decision between Patrick Taylor and Tyra Goodson, but I think Tyra Goodson wins out. And then on the next drive, Rico Gafford unfortunately gave up another big touchdown. I think that's happened to him a couple times during the preseason, and he has some great speed and some good hands, but there's just been a bunch of times during the preseason where it showed that it's probably not going to make the team, but who knows, maybe they bring him back in the practice squad, but not a really great showing throughout for the most part. Love had a great throw to Ture in the second quarter. he had a good throw to Rodgers in the second quarter. Then Trey had another one again. And then there was a terrible, or then they had to settle for a field goal, so that was unfortunate. They made the field goal, and then there's running into the kicker penalty, and Ahmed was down for a while after that. I think he still kicked later. He was still kicking later on in the game, but that was really unfortunate. I think going forward, I'd like for the running into the kicker and the roughing into the kicker to be melded into one penalty, because it's so. I mean, usually the penalty that's called is running into the kicker, but then like when it's a big game or something, then all of a sudden it becomes roughing. I know it has to do with like running into the kicking leg or the planting leg, but both scenarios could be very dangerous for the kicker, and it would be really unfortunate when there's not a lot of good kickers throughout the week as it is for somebody to run into the kicker and it just be a running into the kicker penalty and the guy is down. I mean, both penalties, or when both penalties are called, there could be a severe injury for the kicker. And I think it would just make it a lot easier if running into the kicker, roughing the kicker were melded into one penalty, make it 10 yards, and just be done with it. Because trying to decide if it's a plant leg or the kicking leg is just dumb. Just make it one penalty. That way, you know for sure if it's running. If the kicker gets hit after a field goal or a kick, that it's just one penalty. It's 10 yards, and there you go. And like I said, that field goal was a disappointing way to end the series. They are really driving and just sputtered out. Later in the second quarter, Chris Barnes had a great stop, or blocked the ball out of a guy's hands. And then we get to the end of the second quarter where there's that terrible throw by Jordan Love for a pick where he just threw it into triple coverage, tried to lead his receiver, and he totally overthrew him. I mean, it hit him in the hand, but it was just like he wasn't going to catch that ball, and totally picked, brought back, didn't score, but I mean, it's just another one of those plays that it just needs work on. Throughout the game, he had a couple of deep throws, and I don't think he completed one of them. He was very good on mid-range and short-range throws, but his deep ball is not there yet. His accuracy is not there yet. Although Rodgers had some great things to say about Jordan Love in the fourth quarter, that he's getting better and better, just needs to keep getting reps, more reps, and hopefully it'll get him to where he should be. Like I've stated before, I think Jordan Love can be a serviceable to good backup quarterback in the league, and could be a decent replacement should Rodgers retire in the next couple of years. I hope it doesn't come down to that, but I think it might, and I think it won't be so bad. But he still needs some seasoning. I think I feel a little better about him, possibly, should the theoretical reason of Aaron Rodgers getting injured and being out for a long time, that if Jordan Love has to step in, he could step in and do a decent job. Especially with the running attack that the Packers are going to have this year, it might not be the worst thing ever. I don't want to say if Aaron Rodgers goes down, the Packers season is completely over, because it's not. Because that would just be a disservice to all the other players they have on the offense. Now to go to the third quarter, we start off with the terrible kick return coverage by the Packers again. A lot of the guys I think that are on special teams in this game aren't going to be there come cuts on Tuesday. Same thing with the defense. I think the defense at this time was starting to mix in the seconds and the thirds, and they're just playing bad defense. They're just getting gashed over and over. That Pacheco for Chiefs looks really good. I think he could definitely make their team and get reps during the regular season for sure. Packers had a good stop on a 3rd down, and then the beast known as Jack Heflin came in and blew up around and made them lose a couple yards. Then it was a turnover, and it's just one of those plays that shows that you can be a linebacker in this league for sure. And I think Jack Heflin has a great opportunity to be a backup Heflin or a backup linebacker in this league. I think he has a great chance to make the team. I don't want to say that play completely earned him a spot on the roster, even though the announcer said that's the kind of play that gets you a spot on the roster, but I think it's a good chance. He has another great play that we'll go into in a little bit, but I think Jack Heflin makes the team after getting cut early in his career and missing just about all of last year. He wants to make the team, and it's really good to see. You can really tell. And let's just continue on. And then Packers had another great defensive stop in the 3rd quarter. Didn't give up any more points. And then that was the end of Jordan Love's night. Like I said before, Jordan Love has upside, but he needs to keep getting better on his accuracy, especially in deep throws, because the accuracy is not all there yet. Danny Etling started out the 4th quarter with some great throws. I know he probably won't make the team, but he started out 7 for 7. He almost had a great throw to Samori Toure. It was a deep ball, but it was undone because, again, a player on the offensive line that probably won't be with the Packers by the end of cuts on Tuesday ripped the defender's helmet off, and it was so blatantly obvious. At first, I thought it was one of those plays like, of course, it's a ticky-tack call. Then I saw the replay, and it's like, oh, he ripped his helmet off. Of course, they can't not call that. Packers had some more decent defensive stops. Samori Toure is making great plays in the 4th quarter, really trying to make the team, and I think he has a decent shot to make the team. Jack Heflin caused a fumble that was recovered by the Chiefs, but it was another example of him just getting in there, wreaking havoc, and making good impression to make the team. There's another missed pass interference called on the Chiefs at the end of the game of 4th down. Etling made a great throw to Samori Toure. Chiefs defender comes up, wraps him up before the ball, or when the ball's like arm's length in front of me. Never has a chance to catch the ball, just wraps him up, tackles him, and the ref is just like blind, leading the blind. Can't see. See no evil, hear no evil. It's like Helen Keller out there. No disrespect to Helen Keller or any blind or the blind out there, but it was just one of those plays that a 5-year-old could pick out because it was so blatant. And I had a count of 3 missed defensive or offensive pass interference penalties that could have been called on the Chiefs. Of course, they're not called. It's a preseason, and yeah, hopefully the officials get their act together. And I hope we don't have any scenarios this year where offensive pass interference decides the game, even though it probably will, because the NFL is stupid and certain penalties only get called during big game scenarios, and they fuck over one team and the other team gets to win. It's really ridiculous, and NFL needs to get their act together on some of this. Offensive pass interference gets called, or could be called all the time, and for it to consistently not be called until the end of the game, where a game is decided, is just ridiculous. So, a decent game overall, some great moments, but marred by some bad defense and bad tackling and some ticky-tack penalties, I guess, at times, but there's a lot of players playing tonight that were just playing their last time in green and gold, and some of them couldn't hack it. To get to some of my final thoughts, when it comes to the wide receiving core, especially at the 6th wide receiver, I think Amari Rodgers makes the team just because, like I said, he has great he can be used on the kickoff return, and he has some decent hands. And he's been showing strides. Samari Toure has a great chance to make it. Juwan Winfrey has a great chance to make it. I think Juwan Winfrey is Aaron Rodgers' favorite of them, just because he has great hands and he's a big body. I think like I said, Rodgers probably makes it. I think, or hopefully, maybe even there's a 7th wide receiver position for one of the other two to make it, and then the other survives waivers and makes it to the practice squad. I don't know how likely that is, just because Packers rookies that get cut get claimed by teams all the time, especially decent looking ones, and it's really upsetting, but it's just the name of the game. When it comes to the running back, Goody's going to have a difficult decision to make on whether Tyra Goodson or Patrick Taylor. Both have made great claims to their running back position, but I think Tyra Goodson makes out just because he's had an overall better camp, and Patrick Taylor had the injury that he's coming back from, so maybe that hurts him, maybe it doesn't. But I think regardless, one of them will make the team and the other will make it to the practice squad. But I really like Tyler Goodson to make it. He just looks the part of an NFL running back. He just makes great cuts, gets in, had a great spin move tonight on the touchdown run, and he's a good mover. He can do everything, and he has good hands. He doesn't fumble the ball, or at least I didn't see him fumble the ball at all during the preseason. And we'll finally get to Jack Heflin. Like I said, he should make the team. I think at least he has a great chance to make the team. If nothing else, hopefully he makes it on to Packers practice squad. But honestly, he's made so many good plays during the preseason that if he were to be cut, I don't think he survives waivers. Same thing with Isaiah McDuffie. I haven't talked about him all tonight because he just was there. He made plays, but nothing spectacular. He should make the team. I think he has a great chance to make the team too, because he's just been great throughout. Where Heflin had some sputtering moments at time in one of the preseason games, but it's come on really strong. Like I said, it's going to be really tough on Goody to make those final cuts. Jordan Love's going to be the second quarterback. I think the Packers probably only keep two quarterbacks. I don't think Danny Etling makes it, even though he's had some great plays, that great run last week. But I think overall, some good moments, marred by some bad defense and bad plays by players that won't be with the Packers next Tuesday. But in the case of not rambling, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Really looking for subscribers if you like my content. Remember to hit the bell notification. Hit it twice to get all my reviews, because why wouldn't you want all my views? I'm wonderful. No, I'm not that conceited. But if you really enjoy my content, consider subscribing. My social media links will be in the description as always. Check those out. Twitch, Twitter, and logos. Some programming notes, like I said in the last video, I'll be hopefully doing live streams every week to recap all the games, and then I'll probably do a live stream or two leading up to the game, or leading up to week 1, just to try it out and see how it works. And some new videos coming up in the future. My final take on the Packers schedule, how I think it'll go, and just some final thoughts on the roster after the cuts. I'll go through the roster and see how I think the season is going to go through their schedule, determine win and loss record, and see how I think the team will go. Maybe a deep playoff run, potentially Super Bowl. I see in this team for sure. As long as you have Aaron Rodgers, you're always in it. In the Super Bowl conversation, no matter what everybody says, because he's still the best quarterback in the league. I'm sorry, Pro Football Focus Tom Brady is not the third best player in the league this year. Are you kidding me? He is not. Come on. Just because Rodgers lost Davante Adams. Rodgers made Davante Adams more than Davante Adams made Aaron Rodgers. It was Aaron Rodgers that was there before Davante Adams. Davante Adams came in after after their Super Bowl win. He's drafted that year. So, yeah. Maybe I'll get into that in another video in the future, but yeah. If you like my stuff, subscribe, like, share, comment. If you disagree with any of my opinions, let's talk it out in the comment section. Otherwise, have a great day, and God bless.